Call to order the committee of the whole meeting Tuesday, November 4th, 7 p.m. Roll call, please, Kim.
Mead,
Here.
Rhoda,
Here.
Wright,
Here.
Zima,
Here.
Babcock,
Here.
Gustafson. Here. Thank you.
Making a motion for approval of the minutes for the meeting of the committee of the whole from October 21, 2025. So moved. Second. Sign first.
Babcock,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Mead,
Yes.
Zima,
Yes.
Rhoda.
Yes.
Thank you.
First of two public comments. Anybody wish to speak this evening? Anyone online? No, thank you, Joe. Old business, update on hometown holiday. We're ahead of schedule. It's kind of nice. We've got about $2,000 worth of sponsorships in so far that are booked. Got a couple more things to arrange. Would say the only thing that we're short at this time are prizes for the tree decorating. But I do have a number of more entries so far. We got the letters out early this year, and I've got some good responses from some groups that are doing trees. So, and everything else looks on schedule ahead of time, and deadlines are up. So working with Emma soon on the A-frames, and we're almost good to go. That's it.
Were you able to get a guarantee on the weather?
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
We need that.
All right. Well, thank you. Number 3, discussion and consideration of an ordinance licensing retailers of tobacco products, alternative nicotine products, and electronic cigarettes in the village of Rossville.
Well, you know, yeah, I think all we have really to discuss, and we talked about it 2 weeks ago, was to fill in a couple of these blanks. And we talked about levels of application fee and then annual fees. I see that Joe had submitted some samples and a spreadsheet showing what some other communities do. So I think that's probably the single most important thing we just need to come to a consensus on. We do have those optional provisions, but I think we decided to do F and use option 2 on G. So I think we're good to do that. So really, I think it just comes down to what do you want to do in terms of annual fee and application fee. Am I missing anything, Joe?
No, but do you want to address anything with the other part of it? THC stuff,
As far as,
what you've learned from police or?
yeah, so at a meeting with Lieutenant out of Chicago for the Illinois State Police over cannabis section for the state. He had brought one to our attention that some of the ordinance as far as we may want to have in there not only Delta, like, you know, when it refers to Delta 8 or Delta 9, but may it also include like Delta family. So that way, because, you know, eventually it's gonna be a Delta 11, Delta 12, Delta 13 as, you know, things progress and they come up with new ways in order to make these synthetics and stuff like that. So just a blanketed Delta family in there.
And then there's a testing kit we have now.
So yeah, we do have testing kits now.
That's between,
That will decipher whether or not it falls THC strain or if it falls under the hemp derived, and it will tell us the difference. We still can't quantify or anything. State police will not quantify either. The state lab won't, but it has to go to a private lab in order to get anything quantified though.
a
So
lot of this was with Dr. Martel. We've been in contact with her a lot, actually, in the last few weeks or months since we started talking about this a little more. Obviously, state police, talked with them. We've got sample ordinances. We're gonna try to work through some of those. See how well we can enforce it. And then obviously next step is also to talk to the SA's office to see how they would consider prosecuting these as well. So we're working on a bunch of different things. So this is the tobacco portion of it, but then we're also going to bring forward some THC portions.
I would prefer derivatives and compositions as opposed to maybe delta in general, because
That's what I think Sam was talking about. That's what the recommendation is from the Seattle State Police. So we won't be putting in specifics on there.
And that's fine. Was not privy to these conversations, so.
This just-
Oh,
No, you just have, yeah.
that's fine. Coming forward with some additional kind of ordinances to bolster this. Here, it's kind of covered under herbs. I mean, anything that is smoked, anything that. So it wouldn't cover gummies and so forth, but if it's flour like the one shop had, and clearly it would be covered by this ordinance.
Well, and part of the conversation was too, is that some of the ordinance that he was providing as well, the difference between home rule.
Yeah.
And non-home rule as well, because he provided some that were different than us, so.
Sort of a two-part process, right? Tobacco, and then we'll also be trying to work on some.
Well, you should bootstrap kind of the.
Sure.
Anything that is burned under this ordinance and include some of the stuff we saw at that other location. But yeah, we can beef it up even more. This is language from the statute, so I think we're, as a non-home rule, I think we're good to do this. So back to $200 application fee and $100 annual fee, or what's the number?
is there I asked if we could get some type of comps.
Yeah, those are in, I think, those are in the board packet.
So 200.
Well, I mean, there-
So
Mayor, are there two different topics here? The application fee and then secondly, the fee to sell. If you take a look, there's an illustration from South Beloit treats, and this board had that conversation 2 weeks ago. Those that sell and it's incidental to the business model versus those whose primary business model is the sale of tobacco products. So South Beloit treats these licenses as a class A and a class B, somewhat similar to what we do with our liquor licenses. So is there a desire here to differentiate between those two types of businesses and to have 2 degrees of annual fees? But you can have the application be the same regardless, but the fee to sell can be differentiated based on the type of business.
I like the 2 fees.
Yes, I would agree with that as well. If it's, if tobacco products are part of the business, but not the primary part of the business, just like we do with alcohol sales.
If you take a look at the South Beloit one, they start with a $250 fee for those that engage in selling less than the business. 50% or less of the business model is devoted to alcohol. Those who have 50% or more, they have the fee pegged at $3,000. This is South Beloit. About the cannabis. It's a big spread.
you do have a dispensary,
It's a big spread.
so they're gonna be paying that.
Yeah, easily.
well, the dispensary is.
It's different.
Be under the South Beloit, or it would be under completely separate.
The fee, $3,000 fee.
I haven't,
I would assume that they would pay that.
I think the dispensary has, cannabis dispensary has licensing fees that are probably under a section of code, but I haven't done it.
Well,
Rockford's company around here, but Rockford also has an application fee this is their annual fee, and they have a fairly sizable application fee as well. They
And
charge.
they don't have an A and B in Rockford though either. They just,
No, they just, they just
Just
have a
one.
very high,
so do you wish to do an A and B or?
I still like the 2. I hate to penalize gas stations where they run in and grab. Right?
So if that's a consensus, then what would you recommend for the A? 200,
$100.
but what would you have then for the
Well-
processing fee? I mean, just the mere application. There are some administrative costs associated with that.
Well, it is A, the South Beloit calls it primary, but more than 50% of this, we have to define it. We can't.
A is the general.
And A would be general. With gas stations.
It would be less than X
50.
percent of.
Less than, yeah, less than primary.
But selling.
But I think we need to identify.
You gotta have a number.
We
What
gotta
would
have
you like for a
Less than
number?
50% and more than 50%.
That's fine. I agree with that. That works.
So the casuals, the. Less than, A is less than 50%. A store or a.
Gas station.
Quickie mart that just sells cigarettes on the side. Okay. And then B would be more than 50%. So now we need application and annual for each.
If the application for a liquor license is what, $50? Joe?
For a liquor license? It's
The
500.
application, just the application, not the, well,
For new
background
ones,
check and
500.
all of that stuff goes into that cost, but we don't have to do that for tobacco sales.
Probably less. for
Trying
tobacco.
to peg it toward what the administrative cost would be.
I think that the application fee should be the same regardless of what category they fall in. And it should just be for processing, right? So if it's $100, $100 across the
Like
board.
$100 or $200.
Yeah,
probably.
so I would say maybe 150, throwing that out there as an application fee for both A and B. Then I would recommend 200 for A and maybe 400 for B.
Good enough?
So we'd be charging an application fee and the first year's licensing fee at the same time,
Yes.
Yes.
making sure that it wasn't like we paid once and then
And you can consider 500 for
I would think so.
the one, just for.
For the primary,
200, 500.
Yeah.
With $200 application fee.
Dane?
Well, comment was 150 application fee.
Yes,
Yes.
150 application fee, 200 for non-primary. And 500 for primary. Is that consensus?
I like that.
All right. We can put that in there.
At some point in time, can we revisit signage too? We don't need to do it tonight, but. You know, there was some concerns of. Some of the types of signs that are in and the what square footage or amount of, whatever you want to call, that covers some of these places.
that'd be a code thing, right? Then we'd have to
Later.
we'd
Yeah, I
have
mean, we
to
have-
look at the codes.
Maybe later. We brought it up last time, I just.
Assume we have, I haven't done a deep dive into the sign ordinance because I haven't had to, but we have a sign ordinance that identifies the number of square footage for retail or whatever, right, Joe?
Correct.
And it probably includes the sign above the door, the sign on the facade, the signs in the windows, it all adds up.
Yes,
And if you only get X and you're over X, then you gotta get rid of.
I think that's,
And if just applying the ordinance to those offenders solves the problem, great. If the ordinance needs to be beefed up, then it can be beefed up.
Off the top of your head, have we banned botanical representations, signs?
Yeah, it was really.
You know, the leaves.
I think the statute already bans cannabis.
It's considered a sign.
Someone was once saying you have a hemp leaf, but
So talking with the Illinois State Police on that deal with that instance all the time. I believe under, is it federal law that you can't have the cannabis leaf presented? However, there are some establishments that they put up the hemp leaf, which if you look at them, basically the same thing. Like I said, you do have to be careful when you say, is it a hemp leaf or is it a cannabis leaf? So I think like if you did ordinance, maybe something, the fact that you can't have like any
botanical,
botanical, yes, like
no leaves.
something that sort of like. I don't know if that's.
If
It works.
On this South Beloit one, they have specific. If you sell to minors, that it's immediate revocation. Do we need to have something in our writing too that?
Well, we have an enforcement process within the ordinance. If you violate the ordinance, it could be fined or have your license suspended. I mean, it's your call, absolutely. Typically with a liquor license, if somebody sells liquor to a minor, there's a penalty, and then you're a first offender. If they do it again, you might have a suspension for a bigger fine and a suspension. If it's kind of, I don't know exactly how you guys have done it, but I've seen in other communities, kind of 3 strikes, you're out. I mean, you get your license.
Report some due process.
Another question, just looking through their ordinance. Are we gonna limit how many Class B licenses? Like South Beloit has a limit of 6 Class B licenses at any given time in their municipality.
Wonder how they figured it out.
I don't know, just,
Well, they all
I
have-
mean, I saw that.
I know, I just glanced at it, I was like, oh, wait.
Well, each applicant's gonna have to be approved, right, anyways, right?
That could be in the ordinance approved as a one if you get so many like the gaming establishments. You create a license for it again.
Depending on how many we get, we could then see if we need to correct the ordinance.
Well, so do you want to put a license limit number of 5 or 6? I mean, we don't, my perception is, I don't know how many tobacco shops we have.
It's true. Whatever number is chosen is going to be arbitrary.
Unless you choose the number that you've got currently, and
Then the others,
they come in
As they
like we
come
do for
up.
liquor. I mean, we do that for liquor. They come in and we add licenses as they go. We're gonna
limited
start
to
off with
2
one that you can.
that currently exist.
It does give you a second level of enforcement. And justification if somebody were to come back and say you arbitrarily capriciously denied me. Communities have the right to limit the number. And so. Maybe you would have qualified for the license, but we've made the determination we only want 2. And we're not gonna amend the code to say 3. It's another legal argument in case someone were to come at you.
For discrimination.
And that's been upheld in the liquor area. Or the license system.
Better to keep the number low.
So have it at 2 as suggested, but yes, if someone comes before us, you can make a decision.
Yep.
To expand or not, like we do with the liquor licenses. When is this going to go into effect? Has that been decided?
I know we discussed at the last meeting, we talked about it, putting it into effect sometime in June.
I think it should be June.
So it's not, it
June
gives all our residents time to get ready and get the motion.
And since it's going into effect the second half of the year, the application fee would be the same, but the fee to operate prorated for 6 months or no? What do you
I
see?
think that's unfair to, if you're only gonna let them operate for that year with that much.
Well, I thought we were gonna go June to May each year.
Yeah, I mean, I left those blanks in this as well. The retail tobacco license shall be valid for a term of 1 year. And shall.
Unless we want to go through.
I think
all of
June,
it at
June, I
once.
think, no, I think June is, or whatever, June to May
June
is
to May,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I can just fill that section in and make it a.
Oh.
June to
1 year.
Yes.
June 1 to May 31st or
I think
whatever.
it'll just help with us when we're processing liquor licenses, and I can also process them.
Or you should want to do it at the same time.
Staff wise.
Especially with some of the ones that would have both licenses now.
June 1. May 31st. Got it.
The other issues.
No, we'll beef this up and bring it back again.
Good deal, thank you.
We just wanna have it written up and then just move it straight to for approval? Or do we want to run through here one more time? 'Cause I would make a motion to add this to the ordinance and just then move it forward to the village board of trustees.
However you want to do it. I mean, we have until April or May to get it passed. But we can make these changes and take it straight to board, or we can have it considered here one more time, whatever your preference.
I was just saying, we talked about it now 3 times.
Maybe the sooner the better, that gives them a full 6 months to.
We could have the businesses notified by the
Right.
beginning of January that this is coming into effect. So I make a motion to make these changes and then move it to the Board of Trustees.
Second,
Wright,
yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Babcock,
Yes.
Mead.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, new business, number 4, discussion of the village's participation in the Illinois America 250 commemoration.
You got in front of you, got this little staff memo, but obviously next year is the 250th anniversary of the United States, and so we're going to look at that. We want you to participate in that. You've got the resolution in there is a sort of a model one that IML has circulated to sort of join in with this Illinois America 250 sort of group organization that's statewide. So that's part of what we'd like to do, but also then, it's time to think about what would you like to do as a village? Anything special we want to do? We were talking about sort of looking at maybe a time capsule. Either here or at Porter Park, talking sort of back and forth about where it could possibly be. Get the schools involved, get the community involved with certain events, sort of centered around that time capsule. In addition to doing flags and probably banners along Main Street as well. But if there's ideas you have, it's time to talk about what you, if anything, would like to see, and or we can talk about it another time as well. But does anybody have any thoughts or ideas or participation, not participation?
Are we appropriating any money to this that we might?
Within special event budget,
Okay.
special events.
Yes, then I'll.
It won't be, excessive unless we want to. I guess that's the question. By excessive, I mean, well, I guess by excessive, I mean, firework display or drone show versus just, some of these, signs, some of these, big public event. So that's something to think about too, I suppose.
Is there any opportunity to maybe work with veterans and potentially do something with Memorial Day with this as well? Maybe anything special, but just acknowledge that it could be something that we could work with them on as well.
I like the idea of sprucing up town.
Yeah.
Get some banners or.
I, for one, when I saw this, I was like, yes, we have to. And I
Do
think-
something. But
Yeah.
And I think the time capsule is a great idea to get the community involved, get all our schools, from the grade schools up to the high school involved.
Yeah, we'll participate.
What the lights do, red, white, and blue.
Yes, we definitely have that. So, and I just started thinking about, I guess anything else you want to address with that or bring forward. We were thinking, I guess, location of time capsule. We've been sort of talking a little back and forth here about that, but either at Porter Park by the flagpole down there, somewhere by the cabin, someplace where it's going to be here for 50 years, or 75 years. I think it's 50 years we're talking about matchup. So you're by the cabin or by the flagpole, Porter Park, or Trey mentioned he has seen it before where it's actually in the pillar at Village Hall. Could be a smaller one though, and I think that'd be harder to do sort of a community event around that. So I think Porter Park is probably where we're thinking at right now to do. Riverside Park is probably not there, probably not out front of here at all, because we don't know how this is gonna be in 10 years, 5 years from now. Porter Park is probably a pretty solid location for that. But if there's other ideas or thoughts, let us know as well.
Well, if you're gonna make it a community event,
Yeah.
Main Street's
I like
kind of
Village
the
Hall.
more.
Village Hall idea, yeah, if we're gonna hold something downtown.
I guess it'd be like the size would be the main factor on that, I guess, too, of the actual what we physically put in. Because you want to probably put it in the, we're thinking probably, if it was gonna be one here, it'd probably be in one of those pillars. Depending on what's inside there, we're just looking at those. We think there's high beams out there, though, surrounded by a false front. But any place else is gonna be the issue of if we redo Main Street, where that's gonna be in that location. So, but yeah, we'll look around here too.
That's like,
It also depends, does it not, on what's going to be in that
Yeah.
carousel, the size
Size-wise,
that
I think
we
we should,
need.
yeah.
mean, you're already closing Main Street for Memorial Day, because it's 4th of
Well, it's
July.
4th of July, that's what we were doing. This is second Memorial Day, so this is 4th of July.
Because what Mike was saying.
You can also do
incorporate
Memorial
something
Day.
with- Because you already have a parade anyway.
Yeah.
We don't have a 4th of July parade, so that would.
So this
be
would, this
big.
would be the 4th of July, yeah, the big
Yeah.
event of 4th of July.
Now, the other thing is put in front here, it's sort of hard for public to access it if you
Yeah.
had people around it, maybe the multi-use parking lot, if that's completed,
Yeah.
we could have something in there like,
Yeah.
some caps on the
And you think in
ground.
50 years though, is that going, yeah, maybe it's still there. in 50 years.
Well, I hope it is, we're making an investment, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah, I think 50 years is a good point of time. Hopefully, Main Street is a lot different in 50 years.
So it'd be a separate event.
It'd be 4th of July, yeah, this would be the 4th
4th
of
of
July event,
So if you had a
yeah. For
big
anything.
crowd on for the main, the village.
We got new flag, we'll have new flag poles.
New flags, yeah,
Do we want to have ideas for next meeting?
it'd be nice.
Bring them or?
Maybe I'm gonna bring them, we talk
bring 'em,
about
forget
it.
it, or-
We could create a box, drop your ideas here and think of that. And sometimes you get a brainstorm and just jot it down and you go into a common harbor here. Pull them out, read them.
I guess at this point, I'm gonna ask for motion for today's purposes to move that resolution of support to the board. Just supporting the Illinois America 250 Commission.
Let's support that. Okay,
Second,
Simon,
Yes,
Becca,
yes.
Wright,
yes.
me,
Yes,
Rhoda.
Yes.
Thank you.
Number 5, discussion of candidate selection, 2025 IMRF Executive Trustee election.
Clarification, do we pick one of these two candidates and nominate them if we want to, is that?
Yes.
Shall I pick one, or yeah, pick one or the other? And then we will submit the,
There's an official
Vote.
ballot,
yep,
so it has to be a vote of the board. So you
Okay.
choose one, and the one you choose will fill in the ballot, it gets sent off. The clerk.
With knowing the thing, I would like to nominate Megan Gove. Make a motion that we would nominate her.
She's one of the.
She's one of the areas. Talcott Library.
second.
Okay,
Wright,
yes.
Simon,
Yes,
Becca,
yes,
Rhoda,
Yes.
me.
yes.
Thank you, guys.
I'm going to then color in the circle here and the clerk. This is for a 3-year term.
Number 6, discussion of an extension of the Swanson Park use agreement. And this will be till March of next year.
It goes, so as the agreement's written out, it goes annually, so it's from January, January 1 to December 31st. The process was kind of formalized a little bit more when we amended the agreement. The license holder has requested a renewal, so we have to act on that. We did beef up and trustee Wright did contact me regarding, well, we wanted to get some additional information, financial information. That is in the agreement, but it's annual. So for 2025, they have to provide us with their financial statements, spreadsheets, their asset allocate, whatever. It's agreement, and I think I brought the
That's due prior to the,
March 1.
I do my prior to March.
March 31st.
March 31st.
essentially before their season starts. Yeah.
And this time it's one lump sum. If you remember last time, they were afforded installments because it was new.
I remember the board was talking about that last year, sitting on meetings before the election, so I was wondering if they were gonna agree to one lump sum and then the price increase. I saw that was in here.
It stays at 7,500.
I believe the agreement calls for one lump sum payment.
They requested last year.
We accommodated them as 25, 25, 25
Just that year.
that year. I mean, if they ask again, you can consider it, but the deliverables are, just to back up a little bit, the licensee shall provide a consolidated balance sheet, a recap and detailed income and expense statement from the previous years and from their licensee's accountant. We also want their IRS Form 990. So what's more information?
Right, I'm just reading on the agenda item that there was an increase from 3,500 annually to 7,500 annually.
Yes.
That's what I was asking, you said it was last year, it was this year, so
They paid 75
Paid 75.
for 2025.
I was just asking for clarification, because it said it was getting increased, so I didn't know if it was already in effect or.
It is, yes, I'm sorry. The amended agreement went from 3,500 to 7,500. So that's what they'll owe it.
We need a motion to approve.
Motion to
the
approve
extension.
the extension.
Motion to forward it to the board. Then we'll have a
So moved.
resolution.
Second.
Just a question, when they are invoiced, asking for payment on or before March 31 or March 1?
What's in here?
I thought it's in March 1. Unless the verbiage does this. Oh, here it is. Article 6, Section B, payment of said sum shall be made annually on or before March 31st of each year. This agreement is in effect.
There you go.
March
And I
31st.
think it calls for us to send them the bill,
Yes,
which as a, because I think sometimes it's kind of gotten, not forgotten, but wasn't on the top of the list. We'll back actually send them like your bank would send you a mortgage. A letter saying make your mortgage payment, we'll send them a letter saying this payment's due.
It says that operations begin March 1st, right? So payments due on the 31st, so we're giving them the operations per month in good faith.
Me,
Yes.
Babcock,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Thank you.
Public comment? Sorry.
for budget process.
Oh, sorry. Put a line right through number 7 for some odd reason.
It's paid.
We don't need the budget. Number 7, fall 2026 budget process discussion, projected revenues and tax levy.
Actually, who start with revenues?
Sure.
I forgot, by the way, you got copies in front of you.
Just a couple items, so we can kind of clarify a few things. There's a few numbers or calculations based off of INL, based off of per capita, so based off of 10,983 people. First one's cannabis, that's at 1.61. Local use tax, state income tax. The replacement tax is a calculation of what they say they're gonna give you this year versus last year, and I allocate it to here, so it's not quite per capita, but and that's went down as well. Then motor fuel tax, so those are based off of information from an outside source, so everything else, we'll get to the property taxes after this. Joe's gonna go over that. That's based off the PTEL. Leave it the same. Video game revenue, I take like what happened in 24, what's happening this year, and about where it's gonna be. And to be honest with you, that's pretty much every other number. I take 24, and then I look at 25 and where are we at 25, and spread it out to the end of the year, and then I look at the trend of it. If it's going down, then I bring it down, it's going up. Kind of like, good example is the retail occupation tax. Probably trending towards 2.2 million. It's trending down a little bit, so I did kind of split the difference into 2.1 million. I think one of the things on the back, capital project fund, there's nothing in there, because I believe you have to make decisions on what needs to be transferred to the capital project fund yet before a number gets put in there. Glenwood Estates, I think it's done, so there's no,
So last year for that, yeah.
Right.
Or this 2025.
right, 25. Yeah. As far as like interest income, left it the same, interest rates are probably, I'm assuming, are gonna go down. So, and that's probably like, that's probably. So, any questions?
Well, that was like earlier when I was kind of jumped in there on revenue. It stuck out to me, obvious, you've gone down 700,000 roughly from previous years, so then I kind of dove in and then was looking at that local use tax.
That's the big one, yeah.
Yeah, and that,
Yes.
89%, yeah, that's a huge one, that's a big
It's
one.
huge.
and that's because they don't know how much it's gonna be replaced with the retail operation tax or what? Is that, am I misunderstanding that?
They're taking that fund other things, so you can,
They took it away from,
yeah, they're.
that's one of those state share ones, that's when
Yeah,
it's
it's
just.
a share tax, so they can. They can do that with that one, they can do that with the replacement
Yeah.
tax as well.
Cause I was looking at the Illinois Department of Revenue and they were kind of revising their forecasts, I thought, to be higher. That's not right, or?
Well, this has come from IML.
This is,
I think it's
this is November one, yeah, this is in November.
This is from November,
which
so-
changed Slightly from the original
Yeah.
estimates, but that's,
If it goes up again, I mean, it's something we can look at.
So it's just estimates. I just more kind of just trying to get my head around why there was such a difference in what the estimate from the 1 year.
yeah, that's what we were talking about
Next.
before, that's what they, yeah, the state,
Yeah, and that's what you can. see.
Does, they pull
You can see
away.
the Current revenues are.
And then,
significantly-
and then on the grant, is that the,
Which, you're talking the second page?
yeah, there's.
Yeah, so that-
Is that the Osling grant, the 531?
So that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that would be you guys,
That's for the capital transfer.
right, so that would happen once you guys decide.
Yeah.
So
Those round numbers.
that was put in before because we thought we were gonna get that.
It will go back in, I mean, we'll go, that's just how, because we're talking about capital,
So, okay, so that's
Yeah.
really not,
yeah.
because that's a big chunk of money too. Okay, I just was, like I said, I saw the difference and I was kind of like. oh,
Yeah, the big ones are those ones that Mark pointed out, the biggest one obviously is that local use tax change. So, huge one.
Guessing that you're gonna pass a. Smoke shop tax. Probably not in here.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, so that's probably gonna have to be. In here. So once that's passed, it's gonna have to be. Figure out how many places are gonna pay it. So that'll have to get in here as well.
The grants was pretty close to past years, just the biggest one is that. Is that use tax?
Yeah, the replacement tax, like I said, that is I base that off of. They give you a number last year, they give you a number this year. Multi-millions, and then I allocated. The change in the difference to. What I think you're gonna get paid, and it's usually pretty close.
And I guess you do have in your packets, and obviously you get those every month, you get those from IML as well, the magazine we give you, but I will put the most recent one in the packet. Interesting read to go through there and just sort of see sort of what those, why they're sort of estimating those numbers the way they are. And some of the changes to the legislature has made to those.
Yeah.
To those numbers. Those are all based on. Revenue, statutory.
Is everything up to date in ClearGov, in the ClearGov?
Yeah, this is third, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the actual portal here is everything. entered, so I know the school year 25. Looks like we have everything filled in. All the budgets are operational, they're up to date.
You have to show me what year, like, yeah, I don't know. So the 2025 year to dates are up to date through what, August?
August.
Yeah,
Okay.
August. The year dates are up through August.
And then I was looking at your timetable, so then the levy is the first thing that we need.
So first thing we do, yep, so that's what we're sort of talking about next year, that's where you can find that if you want. The levy, I mean, levy is what it is, we can. I guess we go through the process of it, so what we do is we will. Our property tax levy, we have to pass that by the end of the year. These numbers are based on all the formulas we can go through. If you want those, I'll give you those to you as well. I didn't put them in this year, or they actually are in here. They're on that sheet. That's the calculation estimate sheet. So they're mostly based on, the increase or changes mostly based on
CPI.
CPI is, yeah, 2.9 in CPI, but that plus a big part of it in the last few years has been just the property values, how much property values have gone up. So that will increase your overall equalized assessments within the village, and that's usually been the biggest factor on the annual increase or the potential increase in property values or in the maximum extension. So we are limited, that's what PTEL is, that's sort of the limiting rates that we get stuck at. And we go, X percentage a year based on previous year's assessment or previous year's tax levy. So the numbers I've got appearing from up forward to, if you want to see them. Well, they're in the packets. Just sort of broke down, went through the current EAV for the Village of Roscoe, $300 million. The equalized new property that's also goes into play with that. That's new properties that have come in, or new buildings, or new reading assessments. And then ultimately getting to that EAV, which is what our numbers are based off of. On there too, I have the maximum levy amount. It's at $1.8 million. $1.7 million is the maximum extension that we can do if we go on the increase just under the PTEL law. So that's the maximum you possibly can extend is at $1.8 million. The second page I have on there gives you the different options for different levy scenarios, I suppose. If we go with the same exact rate we did last year. Somewhere. Sorry, if we go back to the same levy we did last year. It would be actually a decrease in our overall rate. If you wanted to do the max extension, so the increased amount, the max amount we could do, that's at $1.8 million. If you wanted to do the same extensions last year, which we extended $1.7 million last year, that's an option as well. We can't do the taxation hearing doesn't really come into play here because we can't even hit that 5% based on the PTEL. So I guess at this point, it's just starting to decide, do you want to keep the same levy as we did last year? Do you want to do the maximum levy or the increased levy, which would increase our levy by $56,000 this year? Whatever you choose, for the most part, it's going to lower the tax rate. The tax rate will be lower per house. So it's if you do the maximum, the tax rate actually goes down by 6%, essentially meaning that if your property value went up less than 6.4%, you're going to be paying less property tax to the village this year anyway. So most people likely are going to be paying less.
It's 2.9 this, but it was 4.1 last year, right? So is that what reason why it was higher last year? You're saying the rate? Or
Well, I guess you're talking about the CPI.
yeah,
I'm gonna pull this up here so we can, I'll talk about this thing.
I don't want to get in the weeds on this, but I was trying to.
Last year, we levied our tax rate last year, so for your house, whatever value or third value, whatever market value, the assessed value times 0.5317, that top line there, that was your property tax bill last year. And that's what we levied, $1.76 million. That's the amount of property taxes the village received last year based on that. This year, because of the increase in CPI and the overall property values in the village, the amount that you can go up to is 1.8 million. You can levy $1.8 million this year. If you do that, the overall tax rate is going to drop down to 0.49%. So, but 0.49%. So that's the number. So if your property value of your house stayed the same, your assessed value didn't change this year, your property tax bill would go down because you'd be multiplying your current assessed value by 0.49%. And that's if you did the maximum. If we kept the same exact extension as we did last year, levies last year, the $1.76 million, then whereas last year, like that, it would be 0.5%. This year, it's 0.4817%. Same amount of money coming into the village, property values. The property values went up, the overall rate.
Because I know a lot of people have complained, obviously lately, about the assessed values of their property. And when we do speak to the public, we gotta express how with the CPI and the lower inflation, the rate's actually lower. So, even though, yes, their values of their properties go up, the rate for your property tax is less, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's just good communication or messaging.
And ultimately, it's not gonna make anybody happy because the rest of the districts are the vast majority, school districts for that matter, are the big part of your rates.
We don't have control.
Correct. So that's always sort of the issue around.
But you're going to get blamed.
You'll get blamed.
Yeah, but I mean, it's better to have an answer than just to shrug your shoulders and, I'm just saying, that's why I'm trying to get the information so that we can better communicate, to the public.
But you are in a position where you can actually lower the rate and have the same amount of money. So that's a positive.
So, what are your thoughts on?
I would recommend same as last year. Dollar amounts, base rate. Yeah, lower at what point 0.4817.
So there's the overall extension, 1.7 or 1.76, whatever that extension is, what you're looking for that dollar amount.
Correct.
Anybody else have thoughts? I'm sure you guys already know this too. We bring up every year just to remind everybody, but so your next year's extension is all based on the current year's extension. So if you ever take less than that the current cap amount, you're always going to be leaving money. You're always going to be sort of losing money as you go through there. We're not going to recover that in the future. So, which obviously is a whole different topic, but sort of a reminder on that. So when you leave money on the table, you're leaving that permanently into the future.
Do you want a motion?
Was that 74,000?
Are you ready for a motion? Do we have a discussion or something?
It's the 56. The 56.
$56,000.
You're leaving 56,000.
If we went to the cap rate extension, we're still having a reduced rate.
6%. We're lowering your rate by 6%.
Right, we're lowering it by 6%. We're also gaining a slight bit of revenue without it, which is just basically the cost of property going up. So,
Right.
I mean, I'm looking at fiscally, I think we need to go with that cap rate. I know, I don't like paying property taxes like everybody else, but if we keep it lower there, that's 56 this year, maybe 75 next year, then because we're so far behind based on where it is.
Well,
I would agree with that as well, because we don't have a lot of income coming in. And the other thing is, if you look at the tax bill that we get, even though we're raising this, the majority of the taxes you're paying are a lot more than what shows up in the village. I think it was on my tax bill, it was a very small percentage of the village tax versus every other tax part of your property tax bill. I think we didn't do it last year, we could have done the cap, or I think it was when Scott was here. And so I think we should at least do that because we're still gonna be lower. To Dane's point, you're still gonna have a good message, hey, it's lower percentage wise. You're talking about 56,000, it's across all of the properties.
And that's the thing. Like the amount you're going to be, the difference between
It's like
those two numbers.
$30 a
are
house.
Not even, yeah.
Nobody likes to pay taxes, to Mike's point, but the other hand is we gotta have some revenue coming in, and this is a small way, and it doesn't really affect people that much.
Still market that it's going down.
Right. But technically it is. Technically, the taxable rate is going down by 6%.
It's just the value of your property's gone up, so.
Which is what we all hope for when you buy a property as well. Puts a little dent in the major loss of the use tax. A little dent.
Just want to go around
Did you wanna-
the bench here and say which way you want to go with this so that there's direction. Someone want to
I'll
make
go
a
with that.
proposal
I would go with the cap rate.
at 1,800,000.
1,817,000. Yeah.
You as well, trustee Babcock?
I said, I was first.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, I'd go with that. I mean, it's a win-win. He can back it up to a resident to say, listen, it actually went down, so.
Trustee Mead?
Yeah, that's. Yeah, just so we have the messaging that we need, to be.
Yeah, if we're gonna load, let's get a win.
Trustee Simon?
Yeah, I'll go with cap then.
I'm sorry,
I'm gonna go with the cap then.
so 1,817,794.
We need a motion for that.
Yeah, actually. No, because I will bring we'll bring the actual estimate levy to the board next week.
Okay,
Of course, you can make a motion, but you'll have an actual resolution.
Motion to move to the board.
I'll make a motion to move it to the board.
Second,
Babcock,
yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Mead,
Yes,
Sima,
Yes.
Rhoda.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now public comment. Anybody? I will make one real quick presentation. I received some word from the Business Alliance folks. They would rather wait a little while longer. Many of these folks that are in the group are in the starting their retail season, and they were almost begging, it's their busiest time of the year, please don't. We don't have, I had two of them that just said, I just can't meet, period, it's too busy. But we're moving along with that, so that's still in motion, still working on it. Executive session, any need for that?
Now it's called for executive. First personnel.
Motion for executive session?
And that's to go into executive session again, under the especially that I said before, 5 ILCS 120/2C1.
Rhoda was the second, who was the first? Sima. Sima,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Mead,
yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Babcock.
Yes.